The Flying Dutchman. A legend claims that in the mid-1600s, Hendrik van de Decken, his ship and its crew were doomed to sail the ocean forever. Historians claim the folklore was most likely born out of a terrible accident that occurred when the ship tried to navigate around Cape of Good Hope off the coast of South Africa. Then it sank. There have been countless alleged sightings of ghost ship over the last few centuries, some reports as recently as World War II. One of the most well-known sightings occurred when future King George V reportedly spotted the Flying Dutchman off the coast of Australia in 1881. Most reports say the ship appears with an eerie glowing light surrounding it. Scientists argue that many of the sightings can be explained through a current which happens when light refracts through air at varying temperatures. However, because scientists are unable to observe and test this visual phenomenon, many question whether the sightings are actually that of a phantom ship. The Ghost Ship of the Frozen North. It was mid-November 1931 when the Swedish ship, the SS Bachmo, became trapped by sea ice along the Alaskan coast, forcing its crew to abandon ship and shelter nearby until weather conditions improved. Some time later, when the glacier winds and snows had calmed, the crew broke camp to return to the Bachmo, only to find that their vessel had disappeared altogether. 30 years later, the Bachmo was spotted 40 miles from where it had been originally abandoned, but it once again disappeared when crews went to bring it in, this time for good. In the years since the ship was supposedly been spotted, many times by local villagers and fishermen, each time appearing in a perfect condition. Despite this, no recovery has ever been made, and officials are unsure if it eventually sank or if it still quietly rides the Atlantic seas, waiting to be seen again. The disappearance of the SS Chicora, built by the Detroit Dry Dock Company in 1892. SS Chicora was specifically manufactured to facilitate passenger trips from Wisconsin to southern Michigan during the frigid winter months. In January 1895, the owners received a request for the ship to assist with a flour shipment in Milwaukee to be brought back to Michigan. When the ship left the dock on January 21st, the captain had just missed a message from the ship's owner warning the crew not to set sail due to a dramatic weather change. By the time the ship was in the middle of Lake Michigan, it was suspected that they had hit the worst part of the predicted storm. The vessel was late in checking into Milwaukee Harbor. The ship's owner alerted harbors along the lake to be on the lookout for the lost ship. Search crews were sent out in the lake after the storm. They were never able to locate the remains of the ship or the crew. To date, the wreck has never been found. The treasure of the Awa Maru. When most people think about long-lost treasure, they imagine wooden treasure chests. The treasure of the Awa Maru, however, is a different story altogether. During World War II, on April 1st, 1945, in the waters of the coast of China, a Japanese freighter was fired upon by U.S. submarines, sinking and taking the lives of everyone on board. By American forces, supposedly a chain of miscommunications resulted in it being destroyed. In addition to countless VIP passengers and expert technicians, the Awa Maru was also recorded as carrying tons of gold, 5 enormous cases of diamonds, and 40 cases of other gems, and even precious fossils. Though the vessel was eventually recovered in the 1970s, it was revealed that the ship had in fact been nearly empty, and the entire story of riches was an elaborate decoy by the Japanese government for a second vessel, which may have carried all the riches all along. The disappearance of R.G. Coburn was a propeller-powered steamship built in 1870. On October 15, 1871, the ship was sailing on Lake Huron while transporting precious silver ore along with wheat and flour. When a storm hit the area, the ship lost its rudder, leaving the crew at its mercy of the water. The ship eventually flooded, and the other officers, only the second mate, survived the sinking. Sadly, 32 people lost their lives in the wreck. Even though an eyewitness account was provided by the surviving second mate, explorers have never been able to locate the ship or its remains, including the precious silver ore. The second mate claimed the silver ore barrels were part of the cause of the sinking, explaining they crashed around in the storm, eventually breaking large holes in the sides of the ship. Sailors still search for the shipwreck and sunken treasure today.